Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. And there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Click OK, Neil, Jardo, Refracted Curvature, I think that's Sensual Goat, Adam, I'm going to say, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So welcome one and all.
Let's get it on.
Morning.
Did I miss anybody from
Bonjour.
Jupiter's? No? Yeah? Did I miss anybody? Take that as a no.
No.
Well, I'm going to put out a short
Never
video
put
about
a
this
spike.
after the fact, but quick shout out to DJ One Deck for sending me a manual super chat. I should really give props to Dave Weiss for originally coming up with the term manual super chat. That is to say, posted me £30 with a note. What I would call a manual super chat. So, I'm going to read it out. It says, 30 words not allowed to be used when you're explaining how Earth curve is measured. Sea level, horizon, horizontal, parallel, plumb, perpendicular, elevation, angles, triangles, sea sextant, theodolite, spirit level, altitude, vertical, tangent, straight, line, up, down, plane, north, south, east, west, azimuth, linear, and flat. 30 words, and that's that. You can't use these unless you're explaining flat. Thank you very much for the £30 super chat. That's very much appreciated from One Deck. DJ One Deck, no less. So thank you for the manual super chat. I really, really appreciate the support. I immediately handed it over to my wife, who is overdrawn. So thank you very much, One Deck. Really appreciate it. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge? That's a horizon, formerly known as Earth curve.
No, but I was in 24/7 the other day, and for over an hour, they were talking about the occultation of things in the distance. It was literally making my stomach sick.
In the measured distance,
Was the
did I get them
yes,
before
the
you?
horizontal plane of reference.
Horizontal plane of reference. One more time, John.
The horizontal plane of reference was obstructing things in the distance with linear distances.
Yes, if you assert that the calculation of a differential between surface level and a parallel eye level with a depression angle measured with respect to your height from the surface level that is measured, then you can infer that there's an obstruction in the distance below the surface level that you've measured. So the surface level is blocking your distant view of the surface level, is one way of putting it.
It took them over 2 hours to finally get to the Black Swan.
But the distances in the Black Swan, I mean, I'm not suggesting that it's a bad argument, and I can't remember who it was last week that said, in order to have the Black Swan argument, as a flat earther, like with a lot of the criticisms of any Feast of Nonsense argumentation, we must give them so many allowances. It was you, John, Refracted Curvature, while we were editing the book, we were editing a section on the Black Swan, and John pipes up and says, just to have this discussion with the ballers, you had to give them so many allowances. Now, one of them is distance. Yeah? Just to discuss this. Where are you saying the Earth curve's blocking the view in the distance? All right, well, if you're going to give it me in miles, it's going to be linear, isn't it? So you want to infer that there's a obstruction in distance that's linear, that's flat. There's no way you're going to utilise this linear distance measurement to an obstruction that's below the surface level that you've measured your height above without me pointing out that you've measured your height above the surface level and the distance is flat. They need all of those things to move forward in the Black Swan argument. In other words, they're getting quite a few concessions out of you before you move forward with the Black Swan argument.
Right, and ballers recognize this because they'll ask us, well, what's obstructing our view on your flat plane?
Yeah, because then you're into arguing
What would
that
that be?
a perspective measurement distance inclusive will be a alternative to their version that requires a flat plane linear distance measurement. No. If we're going to use distance, you're going to get on your knees and acknowledge how flat Earth must be for those distances. If you're going to measure your height off surface level, get on your frickin' knees and acknowledge how flat surface level must be. And what's that? You want it to be a curved surface level? Well, how are you going to have a parallel eye level with it then? To derive your dip angle measurement to a surface level you're inferring obscures your view. You won't, but what you will be doing if you're talking to me is getting on your frickin' knees and acknowledging how flat Earth must be for us to have this discussion. Now, as this might irritate people who have only in 5 years. Just started to get their head around the Black Swan. I'm sorry, dum-dums. I know that some of you still haven't got it. Tough luck. Me, I'm already making it redundant. Aren't I? Because I'm saying, yeah, the Black Swan, unfortunately, old school cool that it is. Because that's what it is, out of date. It's out of date by 5 years now. Right? Now, it's never going to change. I can always put that argument to somebody if they insist on me begging the question alongside them. If I want to toy with them. Yeah? Like play with my food. I can allow them a certain amount of flat Earth leverage. They don't deserve it, but if I want to have the argument with them for my own amusement, I could. But in 2025, we don't need to. You need to relinquish certain flat Earth measurements in order to have the argument. That is to say, whistle past the fact you're measuring Earth flat or your height off surface level flat to suggest that at 1.22 times the square root of the observer's measured height off a flat Earth will be a distance to horizon that we can measure and see if it's correct or not. The distance will be linear, the height off surface level will be linear for us to say whether or not there's Earth curve there or not. How interesting that we'd need to give them all these concessions. In 2025, I'm not giving them jack. You'll be on your knees acknowledging how flat Earth must be for us to have this discussion. And when you do, that'll be the end of the discussion. There won't even be one. Because you'll be on your knees acknowledging how flat Earth must be for us to measure anything, ever. To pretend that we can argue about whether or not it's curving. No, we won't be doing that. It'll violate the measurement you've just took. So that's the end of that, then. Now, what I've just displayed to anybody who's questioning whether or not this is a debate at all. No, it isn't. This is what you would call supreme confidence in facts. I know for a fact that Earth is measured flat, and absolutely nothing that anybody says or does will change these facts.
It could be a tangent, though.
What could be a tangent?
For horizontal plane of reference.
A horizontal plane of reference is a horizontal plane of reference that you must reference or measure. It's not a tangent.
Jeez.
Well, that's just what AI told me in relation to elevation angle measurements.
A tangent's a straight line meeting a sphere at a single point. What sphere would you be referring to?
A conceptual one.
But where did that sphere come from? This conceptual sphere must have come from something. Did we not measure something to come up with this conceptual sphere you're hesitant to suggest is a radius 3959 based sphere we're going to suggest we've got a tangential plane of reference to at a single point? But where did the ball, this sphere, come from?
Derived from flat Earth measurements.
Precisely,
I
Neil.
wondering if it's 69 miles per 1 degree, right? Because if the Earth is measured flat with a radius of 6,210 miles with a circumference of the equator of 24,901 miles, right?
No.
So if we have the equator at
Did you hear me say no? Was it rhetorical?
24,901
Just keep
miles.
talking, right? Did you want to say no?
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you put it into an if statement. If Earth's measured flat for these angles. No, that's not an if statement. Did you not hear me just say that's a statement of absolute fact when we come to measure any Earth measurement ever? It's not an if statement. When we measure Earth flat with angles...
Okay, I understand.
You want to just start again then?
Okay.
When we measure Earth flat with angles, do you want to start again?
Okay. Yeah, the Earth measured flat with a radius of 6,210 miles.
Sorry, just want to stop there. So when we measure Earth flat, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of this discussion. That's the end of this discussion, though, isn't it? So we've measured Earth flat then?
Yeah, I'm just wondering how you get pi.
Oh, well, then wonder all you like. It's the end of this discussion, though, isn't it? We measure Earth flat then?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Right, so that's the end of the discussion.
So
There's nothing else to discuss then. You keep yammering through my conclusion. It's the fourth time you've done it. You asked, if Earth's flat, I stopped you and said, no, it's not an if statement. Do you want to rephrase it? So you rephrased it. Earth's measured flat, you started with, and then I stopped you again and said there's nothing else to discuss. You kept on yammering through me like there was something to discuss, me telling you no. It's called me shutting you down. I'm not going to have an if statement discussed with a then we'll get radius values. Now, you maybe didn't hear me at the beginning of the show. That's contentious. The way the ball comes to fruition is by measuring Earth flat with angles. Now, do I stand by those as my measurements or my version of the world? No. I'm not doing anything. I'm not measured jack. But the way the ball gets measured, that's an oxymoron. We're measuring Earth flat, like you just pointed out, to come with those radius values that you're about to spew into. Yeah, I don't need to discuss them. I don't stand by them. But the ones that are in existence already are flat, and that's the end of this discussion. Beyond that, I don't stand by any of these measurements. But you, if you're a baller, I'm not saying you are, need to stand by measuring Earth flat to believe in your ball, at which point I end the discussion, and I want my audience to understand that. They're not my measurements. I'm not standing by a circumferential value in miles. That's ludicrous also. No, I haven't measured any of this. So why are you asking? Why are you putting it out there? When you get to the statement that you suspiciously put in an if statement, it's not. Yeah, it had a discussion that could have taken place. As soon as I said, no, it's not an if statement, it's just Earth gets measured flat for these garbage numbers that created balls. Yeah, Earth got measured flat for them, that's the end of the discussion, so I don't care about radius values. I don't care about what the circumference of the outside limitation of Polaris is. I couldn't care less. But everybody who wants to believe they're on a ball must accept the fact that we measure Earth flat for all that crap. That I do not stand by and do not care to discuss. It's not mine. I'm not Copernicus.
So I can't set up a syllogism for you.
I don't need one. What do I need a syllogism for? I don't need logical.
Just talking about
I'm still talking. I'm still talking. I don't need one.
You talked about.
Are you deaf? I'm still talking. You asked me if I needed a logical syllogism for a statement of absolute fact. Do I need to infer that with logic? Hello? I don't need one. Do you understand? Are you deaf? Do you understand? I don't need logical inference for a statement of absolute fact. Do I? Are you deaf?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So why are you offering me one then? So do I need one? Yeah, you can shut up now. Do I need one? No, I don't, dum-dum. Why are you suggesting I need logical inference for absolute fact? It's the second time you've done it. Number one, it's not an if statement. Number two, I don't need logical inference for statements of fact. But you're asking me like I need one. No, I don't need one, sir. Do you want to sit down and shut up now?
Well, what's your justification? If you don't need a justification,
I don't need one because you told me it's measured flat, you stupid clown. When you told me, after I corrected you because you were wrong, you understand that your if statement, that's like you using logic, was wrong. You didn't need an if statement because your statement was about a measurement that you took. No logic was inferred. A measurement would have been taken of an angle. That's why. Do you understand?
Yeah, in a linear amount of 69 miles.
Good. Now, shut up with your if statements and your logical inferences for absolute facts. Shut up, sit down. Clear? Is that clear? It's not rhetorical. I'll tell my audience, yeah, what I've just done is just shut this man down. Because he started out by asking me if Earth is flat. No. You may be not paying enough attention to the show. It is absolutely, without question, measured flat. And after I corrected, you told me how you'd measure Earth flat in the first instance, and then asked if I needed a logical inference. For what, your flat Earth measurement that you're measuring? Definitely not. Now I'm annoyed with you and telling you to sit down and shut up, asking if you understand and getting silence. Understand how wrong you are to use logic for statements of fact that require measurements. Doesn't need any inference attached to that. It certainly doesn't need you talking through my conclusion. Yeah? I asked you if you understood and you left silence. Now you've got the belligerent determination to talk through my conclusion for the fourth time. I'm telling you off. It's not logic that we need, it's understanding of facts. Facts about how Earth gets measured. They don't need to be turned into logical consistencies. That's absolutely redundant.
Nathan, you're talking
Well, yeah,
to a
you heard
person
it
with
here first.
agitation.
Pi equals 2 in reality. And that's how you measure the Earth flat, because pi equals 2. Yeah, that makes sense.
No. We didn't measure Earth flat with pi equals 2. What are you babbling about, you stupid clown? Didn't you understand when I told you to sit down and shut up after being wrong twice?
No.
Sit down and shut up! Nobody's measuring Earth with pi equals 2, you stupid idiot. Sit down, don't talk. Again, this time it's not rhetorical, I'm not seeking an affirmation. Sit down and shut up. Irritating dick.
I wanted to say something. This guy's agitation. He said something the other day, and I caught on to it. He's a Torah follower.
So, I don't care. What I care about is people inferring that there's some sort of logical consistency to attach to a measurement. There isn't. Don't need logic. It's not an if and then circumstance.
Let me put it together. We know Earth's measured flat, so why do we got to go back and do anything else? You said it yourself. Same thing with the law. It was there for a reason, now it's gone. But people are going back. I find that very weird.
Because there's only one way for this to continue as an argument. If it
think it's okay to murder people?
Do you want to shut up or I'll remove you? What an outrage. This is a debate about the nature of how Earth gets measured, and you're asking me about whether it's reasonable to kill people. Sit down and shut up or I'll remove you. I'm not going to tell you again I'll have you removed, you stupid belligerent little twat. Shut up! The only way this continues as a debate is if men like this arsehole suggest that there's logical inferences to be made with if statements when you've just measured Earth flat. After measuring Earth flat, there's no discussion to have. But if you can make it into a logical consistency, if you can argue about pi being 2, if you can make it seem like there's a circumstance after your Earth that's measured flat to suggest it might not be, then there's a discussion, then there's a debate. Yeah? Me, I'll shut that down in a heartbeat and say, no, sir, it's not a logical consistency suggestion. It's a statement of fact after measurement. Nothing to discuss. There's no if pi equals 2. No, I'm just measuring an angle with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. That's what an angle measurement is. That's what we do. That's how Earth gets measured. It's how the systems that later get turned into a ball got measured. Now, you can either accept those flat Earth measurements as flat Earth measurements or get lost. I don't give a toss which you do. But I'm not going to debate them as an if statement.
Right. You would not ask if dogs exist. There is no logical syllogism for the existence of a dog or an apple. They are just things.
Yeah, let's discuss the pitch of dog barking and start the statement, well, if dogs exist... No. We won't be moving forward in a discussion about the pitch of dog barks with a statement that starts with the proposal that they might not bleed and exist. Like, if Earth isn't measured flat, yeah, that's kind of what the debate needs, doesn't it? But here we are to point out that it is absolutely in all circumstances measured flat without exception. And that's all I'll ever point out. And if the progression seems to start, like, yeah, but if Earth's measured flat and then this logical consistency takes place with how the circumferential value of a globe should be or shouldn't be 24,000, I don't give a shit. Earth got measured flat. And unless you accept that, we ain't moving forward. And if you try and move forward after the flat Earth measurement, I'm going to get you on your knees acknowledging just how flat Earth gets measured. And when you do finally acknowledge it, I'll shut you down in a heartbeat and tell you to sit down and shut up. And your response will be asking me if murder's okay. That's your response.
It wasn't about globe circumference.
Yeah, that'll be me telling this guy for the 5th time to sit down and shut up. So what I'm going to do now, you belligerent little twat, is server deafen you permanently, because your response to me pointing out that it's not a discussion point when we measure Earth flat was to ask me if murder's okay. That was your non sequitur fallacy, number 4, and then you've interrupted me again, haven't you, you prick? It's not a discussion Earth's measured flat. You need it to be, that's why you're continually interrupting me with your belligerent behaviour. Piss off. Is murder okay? Sorry, you need a different forum. This forum discusses how Earth gets measured. It's flat, like he admitted. But he still wants to continue like there's a discussion to have, like there's a debate to have, like pi equals 2. Get lost, you're a dickhead. Earth's measured flat and there's nothing you can do to change it. There's nothing you can do to make it seem like there's still a discussion to have.
Well, some people want to go back, Nathan.
What is the circumference then, if you're measuring it?
So what is the circumference?
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? Sorry, so what are you babbling about? What are you talking about? The circumference?
You're appealing to measurements, right?
Sorry, Earth gets measured. You appreciate Earth is getting measured.
What are they?
So you're asking me something. I asked you something. Do you understand Earth gets measured? Yes or no?
I understand that.
Right, so Earth gets measured and it gets measured flat. Do you understand that? Are you deaf? Earth gets measured, that's right. I'm not measuring Jack. But Earth definitely gets measured. And in the little silence where that man didn't answer, the answer was yes. When Earth gets measured, it seems he's interrupting me. It seems this arsehole's interrupting me. You're interrupting me, sir. Yeah, I just need you to affirm that Earth gets measured, and then I'll go on to point out that when it gets measured, it'll be measured flat. You seem to ask me about the circumference? No. Yeah. We're not measuring any. That's you interrupting me again, sir. Do you want to get removed like the other guy, you total wanker? It's a question, it wasn't rhetorical. Do you want me to remove you? If you do, you'll talk when I'm talking, like you are now.
Yeah, you just continue menstruating all over the place.
So this guy's getting removed because, like the other guy asking if I'm okay talking about murder, this guy's now suggesting that I'm a woman on my menstrual cycle. No, I'm not. I'm a man pointing out that Earth gets measured flat, and then I'm asked about globe values of circumference. Notice at the beginning of the show, I said, without any equivocation, I don't stand by these measurements, but when Earth gets measured, for you and your bull belief, not mine, I don't stand by them. But when it's measured, it's flat. And that's the end of the discussion. I'll be told I'm menstruating when a guy who continually interrupts that fact doesn't get to obfuscate the facts of the matter. Earth gets measured flat. Yeah, that's right. Yes, so that's the end of the discussion then, isn't it? What's that? You want to talk about a circumferential value that'll get turned into a globe so it can seem like there's a debate to have? No, once we measure an angle to the flat surface that we're measuring a flat surface for angles. I don't give a crap what you derive in terms of circumferential value after that fact. We've just measured Earth flat, and that's the end of any discussion that's going to be taking place. But you want to tell me I'm menstruating. Now, I'm telling you to shut up and appreciate just how flat Earth gets measured without incessant interruption from belligerent dickheads that need to tell me I'm menstruating or ask if murder's acceptable. Because that's what I've got so far, isn't it?
Yep. No, I don't ever remember claiming you're measuring pi equals 2 or a circumference. That got added in for some reason, but that's not what we were measuring.
Yeah, I don't remember measuring any circumference of anything when I measured an angle to the star. All right. Well, what were we measuring a star angle for? Well, to create systems like the one on screen that people can turn into a ball to believe they're standing on it rather than in it for the angle. Let's look at this on screen. An angle off a flat plane to derive a system called latitude. Is it my system of latitude? No. But Earth definitely got measured flat for it. I don't give a crap if you want to discuss how those utilisation of a flat surface level for measurements of angles gets used after it's measured. Because once it gets measured flat, that's it. That's the game over. There isn't a game to have. There's no discussion about what we'll do with those flat Earth angles like they used to be. Like, oh, if we can just measure Earth flat and get these angles, we can then discuss whether or not it's flat. That won't happen anymore. You'll get shut down and then tell me I'm menstruating.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on here. I really don't.
We're surrounded by shills who need to turn a flat Earth measurement into a discussion about whether or not Earth is flat. And if we can just discuss whether or not we've got a value that's legitimate in terms of the radial value derived from angle measurements to Polaris, then we can launch into the discussion about whether or not we're creating a ball with those whistled past flat Earth angles that no one's insisted on being flat. We're just using them anyway to create a ball like the one on screen. Now, so long as that happens, then there's seemingly a debate, isn't there? There isn't. We measure Earth flat. And whenever we get to that fact, I will be stopping the discussion. Like, what's that? You want to carry on and discuss about how we will use these angles that we just measured off a flat Earth? I don't care. I'm not a cartographer and couldn't give a crap. But what's that? We will be moving forward after we've measured the Earth flat with these angles. I won't. You can do whatever the bloody hell you like, you stupid clowns. I'll just be stopping you and going, I'm all right. Now that we've measured Earth flat, I'm good, thanks. What's that? You need to know how it all works afterwards. Oh, well, on you go, with your flat Earth measurement in tow, and me demanding you're on your knees acknowledging just how flat Earth will be for you to move forward in your stupid ball discussion. But I'm good. I'm all right looking at you on your knees measuring a flat Earth for angles. I'm good. Okay? What's that? I'm menstruating? No, I'm good. Thanks. What's that? How do I feel on the subject of murder? Oh, I'm good with the flat Earth measurements we just acknowledged. Maybe if we can have a discussion that's ancillary to that, we can forget that we just measured Earth flat. But I won't be. I'll be stopping right here. We won't be moving forward. We won't be measuring our height off surface level and then doing something with it, like calculating our distance to non-geometric horizons that are refracted based on parallel eye level with surface level. I'll just go, what's that? We're measuring surface level? That's it. I'm stopping here. No, I'm all right. I don't need to go forward and find out how far the distance to a geometric horizon is based on my observer height parallel with surface level at 1.22 times the square root to the distance thereof. I'm good. I'm just going to stop here on this flat surface that we must measure at the starting point and then go nowhere with you telling me that we need to move on. And when I refuse, you can ask me about murder or tell me I'm menstruating.
It seems like they want to bring us back to when we would whistle right past it, but that's not happening. Those days are over.
Nah, it's called
Neil.
smoke 'em if you got them. Right? I mean, as soon as you start with, oh, it's too big to measure the curve. Yeah, smoke 'em if you got them, because you just ended yourself. Right? Because
We've been doing this years.
Good morning,
Got a
guys.
chocolate. They've been doing this years though. Go back 3 years when Senf was on it with the celestial navigation. That's what they've always done. They jump the gun and they skip past the angle, don't they? They did it then with dip. They didn't want it. All right, we measured the angle, but now we want to talk about this. Yeah, we'll just forget about that flat Earth elevation angle we've just measured, and we'll talk about something else. They jumped the gun and they skipped past the angle, and they got themselves in a sextant angle.
No, well, we're not having it no more. I'm sorry. I agree 100% with Nathan. I'm not going back.
There is no
Can
going
I
back.
interject?
Yes, feel free.
It's very akin to
Hold on
pointing
one
out
second,
to
John.
someone
Hold on one
about
second,
the
John.
ball being
John, just one sec. Go ahead, Jado.
Once we take the elevation angle to Polaris or any other star for navigational purposes,
we do create a circle of equal elevation. Is that correct?
You can. But I'm saying no. Once you derive circles of equal elevation for things like the equator, like elevation angle at the minimum for Polaris, you can derive systems of latitude and all sorts of stuff, can't you? Yeah, you can. You can do that. But I'm saying, no. Once we measure that angle off a flat Earth, I'm good. I don't need anything else. Now you're saying we derive circles of equal elevation. Do we? I don't. My sister might have done a couple of times when she was out on her boats. I've never done that. I don't need to. But what I do on my show, that's Flat Earth Debate, is seemingly debate whether or not Earth is flat. So at the point that we measure Earth flat, in this case for an angle, I then actually don't need to derive any circles of equal elevation after that fact. I just need to point out the fact that Earth got measured flat as step one. And then I just sit back in my chair relaxing, knowing that Earth gets measured flat. And what we could derive circles of it, we could. I'm just not going to. I understand how they get derived and how we could find our location at sea with these circles of equal elevation where they intersect, line of positioning, the parallel sky, how it's measured with a sextant. All of that stuff I could explain in detail to next man. But I'm not really charging for celestial navigation lessons now, am I? And I can't certify anybody to go out on the sea after I teach them. So what would be the point? What do I do? Well, I argue with idiots that measure Earth flat and then argue about what we'll do with those flat Earth measurements. And I say no more. Once we measure Earth flat, I'm going to stop you in your tracks and say, are we okay now, right? We understand that Earth just got measured flat. Because beyond this, there's nothing really to do. I don't have to derive any circles and argue about how big they'd be or whether or not pi would change, because that seems like stupid nonsense after we've measured the surface flat.
You don't even need to actually measure it, because doesn't just the existence of an elevation angle destroy the notion of a globe?
Yes.
An angle that needs to be measured.
That's correct.
That requires a horizontal plane to even measure.
The systems,
you just go to the definition of it.
The systems that already exist, that are accepted by anybody who navigates or anybody that believes they're on a ball, they must accept that these angles are measured off a flat Earth. There isn't anything for me to do. Now, do I believe your stupid religion that measures Earth flat to create a ball? No. Do I stand by your latitudes? No. I don't care how you measure Earth flat, but you do. Do I? No, I don't care. I understand that Earth is and always was measured flat for your stupid, idiotic, bald faith. Do I have to do anything? No. Do I need to confirm that? No. Do I need to argue anything about what the circles would do with those after the fact flat Earth measurement? No, I don't need to do any of that. You can do that if you want, though. Yeah? I'll just be sitting here over here laughing at you if you take those flat Earth measurements and then start arguing about whether or not Earth's flat. And if you come back to me, I'll be like, why aren't you on your knees in acknowledgement of the very first step you took when it was measuring a flat surface level? Now, either you get on your knees when you come to me and acknowledge that, and the minute you are on your knees, I'll say, get up and get lost. Asking me about circumferences. Piss off. Did you not see yourself on your knees on the flat surface level you need? Yeah, that's my job done now. Get lost, dickhead. Asking me about whether or not I understand about pi or circumference derivations. I couldn't give a crap. You all need Earth to be flat. You're the ones measuring it flat, not me. I mean, I don't give a crap. I just know it's flat.
Instead of coming here and asking us about circumferences, why don't you go to the people that define elevation angles and ask them where they got that horizontal plane that the observer requires to stand on to measure in the first place? Why don't you go ask them that, the people that define this shit? Why are you here asking us about circumference? That's crazy.
Shout out to Jardo, who's on the panel. Gifting 10 memberships. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much, Jardo.
100% correct, Chocolate. Elevation angle. Game over. See you next week.
Smoke them if you got them.
It's not like we didn't come up with that, right? That's been
these are our
established.
measurements. I'm not making a ball with these measurements you need if you're on the ball side. I'm just pointing out that you need Earth to be measured flat. I don't need it to be. I don't care. I don't need it to be anything. I haven't got a religion in what Earth is. Now, the fact that I used to be part of it, whether I wanted to be or not, is irrelevant. The fact that people disapprove of my departure from their bull religion, and upon my departure, I point out your religion requires Earth to be measured flat, making your religion stupid. That displeases a lot of people, to the point where they want to suggest I'm menstruating.
Nathan, you by any chance have one of those definitions handy to read out real quick?
I've got lots of definitions, but of what?
Of elevation angle.
I can dig one out, I'm sure. The altitude angle, sometimes referred to as solar elevation angle, describes how high the sun appears in the sky. The angle is measured between an imaginary line between the observer and the sun and the horizontal plane the observer is standing on. Sustainable by design. Altitude angle. Want another one?
Game over. Yeah, I'll take another one.
Yeah, we'll go for another.
I've got one by Radar Tutorial that I quite like. Let's see if I can dig that one out.
It's almost as if they need a flat plane more than you do, Nathan.
Again, they need a horizontal plane more than we do. I'm not creating a ball religion with a horizontal plane. They are. Altitude angle is the vertical angle between the projection of the sun's rays on the horizontal plane of the Earth's surface.
Oh, I like that one.
Okay.
Another one. Target elevation angle between the horizontal plane and the line of sight measured in the vertical plane through the line of sight. Positive angles are measured upwards from the horizontal plane. Principles of Naval, Ordnance and Gunnery, page 514.
Yeah. So that's kind of my point. Law believers, instead of coming here and asking us ridiculous questions about circumferences and pi equals 2, I don't even know what the hell that means. Why don't you go ask all these people why and what the hell they're talking about when they're talking about a horizontal plane? Okay? That's your issue. That's your problem. You guys need to figure that out, because if they're calling it a horizontal plane, well, that's what you're going by, right? Elevation angles exist. We measure them. Well, then we're using a horizontal plane. You guys need to square that circle, right? Not our problem. It's yours.
You're supposed to, whatever the hell that means.
So there's a go ahead.
No, I'm done. I'm good.
There's a question of whether or not, when we're talking about this flat plane, the one on screen now that we measure all the angles for to create balls to stand in and project angles through to a celestial sphere that we created with flat plane measurements of a flat planar sky. That's what we did. Yeah, that puts you inside a giant ball, but the ball has come from those flat Earth measurements. And when we do this with our seeming opponents, we're doing it completely redundant. We don't need to. They need a flat plane more than we do. But there's a certain question about whether or not, when we do it with gas pressure, we don't go through every nuance of how you require containment to abide by the second law of thermodynamics or any description of gas behavior. Like PV equals nRT, the V being volume. Go ahead.
But that's exactly where I was going with it, right? That's why I said we don't even have to actually measure. Just the existence of the elevation angle and its definition is enough, right? It's almost like a antecedent consequence relationship, right? I mean, you require a horizontal plane for an elevation angle to exist and be measured. That is that. What you do with it afterwards, make it a ball, make it a square, make it a flying cube, whatever you want to do with it, you're free to do with it. But in the first place, it needed a horizontal plane to be measured. So, yeah, it's kind of like the definition of gas pressure, right? The very definition is you can't, what do you call it? Hold on. Very definition of gas pressure is the force the gas exerts on the walls of the container. Requirement, you need a container. Yeah, you need a horizontal plane for elevation angle.
But given how new
After that,
this,
welcome to flat Earth.
but given how new this discussion point is, there's people originally, 18 months ago, that questioned whether or not it was even valid to say that Earth is measured flat. Now, it's just communicating it to enough people for them to recognise the awful truth of how Earth gets measured to believe in a ball. Like all these diagrams on screen. We're not making it up when we tell you, that's the ball believer, that you measure Earth flat. So me saying Earth is measured flat, it's like, yeah, if you measure Earth, I don't need to. It's already been measured. It was measured flat, and then a ball was created with those measurements. So for you, who want to faff and worry about how Earth gets measured, you, believing it's a ball, will, if you look into how Earth gets measured, find out, like I did, that it gets measured flat. Now, when I say, oh, well, that's the point where, if you're listening to me tell you that, you can make a decision. Get on with your day knowing Earth's measured flat, or become an evangelist for flat Earth and learn all the arguments that you're going to have from other religious zealots. Now, that's like saying to a Scientologist who's escaped the Scientology cult, well, you could start a YouTube channel and sit outside main residence of Scientologists writing Scientology's a cult in chalk on the street in front of their main headquarters. You could do that, but most people wouldn't want to. Now, shout out to Growing Up in Scientology channel, because that is precisely what he wants to do, feeling that he's been aggrieved, or whatever the word is, by his former cult, and he wants to dissuade existing cult members from the cult they are unaware of being in. Now, I can totally relate when it comes to the same exact circumstance with, surprisingly enough, the exact same religion. It's just most of the Western world, nay, entire world, are unaware that when they describe their faith in being on a ball, that faith in being on a ball actually involves measuring the surface of the Earth flat to create a ball mathematically. Most are unaware of it, and most wouldn't, after finding it out, necessarily want to stand in front of Neil deGrasse Tyson or bang on the door of the BBC to let the rest of the world know that they've been deceived like the Scientologists have. But some people do, and if you do, you better learn all the arguments and be prepared to get, knocked about mentally and physically and all the rest of the things that come along with people who don't like you telling them that they're in a cult that measures Earth flat to believe they're standing on a ball.
I mean, they even tell you, the Greeks knew the Earth was spherical. And then when they go on to explain how the Greeks measured Earth, they'll be describing how they measured elevation angles for the sun.
Yeah. So I don't measure Earth flat, and being held to task on what these measurements are utilised for after the fact, I'm just not going to stand for it anymore. It's like when someone says, well, you're saying Earth's flat, I'm like, no, that's how it is measured for all beliefs in all shapes and sizes of an Earth that I don't give a toss about in any shape or form. I just know how you will measure Earth if you are to believe you are standing on a ball. You're not, and all measurements that create that maths we've looked into, and they start with flat Earth measurements. Now, once I found that out, I got on with my day, and now I don't care. And now, if we get rid of the stupid nonsense of people taking flat Earth measurements and creating a ball to stand on/in to make it function to move around the sun in a stupid, nonsensical, hundreds of years out-of-date garbage model that came from the church, then, I mean, if that's still on the table, I've got no interest in what Earth's doing. And if someone starts telling me, I'll tell them that the Earth's measured flat for their stupid bull belief. But that's it. Unless we get rid of all that nonsense, who cares? I'm not going to be able to take the entire existence of Copernican heliocentric measured flat worldviews and turn them on their head for every numpty that doesn't appreciate just how flat Earth must be for that belief. Once it's disbanded, then I might take an interest. Oh, right, we can start from scratch now, actually measuring Earth and getting an idea about what it is, beyond the already put in place flat Earth measurements that got turned into a ball. Because I don't take any value out of any of them. And suggesting that some of them are flat Earth models is an outrage. Just used to strawman us into pretending there's an argument to have. Earth gets measured flat always. There is no argument. And I don't need to measure jack. But if you want to carry on in your bull belief, let's get you on your knees acknowledging the measurements that you'll need of a flat Earth before we do anything else. Oh, you're on your knees acknowledging that we need flat Earth measurements? Piss off! Get out of my fucking sight, you pathetic idiot. Did you not recognise how Earth got measured for your bull belief? Well, now I've told you, you can sod off. I'm done with you, you stupid. Get lost. What's that? Well, once we've measured Earth flat, if it's flat, and I measure an angle for circumference, it's pi too. Get lost, you stupid snivelling tosspot.
Whatever that means.
If I pretend pi equals 2 because of a flat Earth angle measurement that I put into an if statement, logically I confer there's an argument to have about ball-shapedness. You could. But I'll be getting you on your knees, acknowledging how Earth gets measured and then disbanding you, telling you to get lost. Yeah, so you understand that, yeah? In the nicest possible tone. You understand that we've got to measure Earth flat for surface level, for the angle, right? You understand that? You do. Get lost! Stupid dick! We measure Earth flat, now get lost! Be gone, you stupid retard! Don't need to discuss this further.
Sorry, like I don't get why you're going. Why are you even going back there? If you know, we're telling you, we're showing you, Earth is measured flat. Who cares? All that other stuff is globe.
Yeah, what we do.
It's not that it's globe; it's calculation, and calculation is a relationship between measurements. Now, if your calculation contradicts measurements, guess what's wrong? It ain't the measurement.
Calculation's wrong.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Misapplying
I don't care what you do with your calculation to calculate what you like. After you're off your knees of the flat Earth that gets measured, at which point I'm telling you to bugger off, shouting at you, and you're like, well, but what are we going to do with these flat Earth measurements? I don't give a toss what you do with them. Turn them into a ball for all I care. But when you come back saying, you know those flat Earth measurements that you got me on my knees acknowledging, I managed to turn them into a ball. You know what I'll do? I'll spit in your face and laugh at you and tell you to get lost with your stupid ball calculations. I'll point out just how flat Earth is, and I'll cobble you. I'll cobble you and get you back on your knees, acknowledging how Earth gets measured. And once you're on your knees again, I'll tell you to get lost again. That's how the cycle will continue. You're constantly getting kneecapped when you come in front of me. And after you get back up off your knees and the pain has finally disbanded, you go, oh, my knees really hurt. Acknowledging how flat Earth must be measured. But let's crack on with these calculations. I need to tell that Nathan guy how these flat Earth measurements, oh yeah, just remembering how painful my knees are. But they get turned into a ball. Let's talk about circumference values. No, you see, this is my baseball bat. It's what I use to bash dickheads' knees in when they come to me and tell me about how ball shape they've calculated the flat Earth measurements. So I'll get them back on their knees, and once they're down there, I tell them to get lost, because I can give a toss. They're on their knees on a flat Earth, aren't they? So who gives a crap what they do with these flat Earth measurements like the ones on screen? You can scream my name into the snow after you've measured Earth flat for all I care.
Nathan, you did not let...
guy once, sorry, real quick, a very famous guy once said, that stuff is flat.
Well,
He wasn't lying.
You didn't allow him to put it into a logical syllogism, Nathan. What's wrong with you?
This guy's back, by the way, this Torah guy.
Yeah, keep kicking
I know
into
exactly
the
who it
Bible
is.
study. He just keeps coming back. Like he's insulted me
Yeah.
and then decided to come back today. Like he doesn't listen to the intro. Get lost. When I say swear,
got an-
that's the equivalent of you being insulting towards me. Yeah? Now, maybe he's listening on the live stream. I don't care. But don't put facts into if statements here. You get the baseball bat to your knees. That's what you get.
There's a bunch of twats in here.
I think he
Bunch of what?
That was funny.
Bunch of twats in here.
Yeah,
maybe.
we like the bats.
Maybe that's true.
Yeah. Black twats.
Maybe.
Listen, that's how you speak Italian. Vinny, get the bats.
Leave the cannoli.
Yeah, listen.
I think he's
got
been sitting here. He
agitation.
wants to get unmuted.
I don't care what he wants.
Why?
Why? When he interrupted me for the 5th time? What, do you think I'm going to open his mic so he can start interrupting me again? While I'm telling him to get on his knees and acknowledge the flat earth that he wants to move past, talk about pi with? No, we were in a debate about, past tense, in a debate about whether or not Earth's flat. So we start with, if Earth's flat. No, it's measured flat though, isn't it? Oh yeah, but does pi equal 2? Piss off! You get cobbled! You're on your knees acknowledging that Earth's flat? Yeah, well that's the end of this discussion then. What's that you want to ask me about circumferences we don't need to discuss? It's almost like there's an argument to have if we discuss the circumferences. Maybe we can discuss what pi would be, based on the flat Earth measurements we've already acknowledged to be flat. There's no discussion, but we can make one seem to happen, and then when I won't tolerate it, you can talk through me. Like a wanker, but that gets you shut down. What's that? Is he in the chat saying, oh, I've been unfairly treated? No, you talk through the host while he shut your ass down. You didn't like being shut down, you felt it was appropriate to talk through me, after being told 4 times prior not to. Yeah, leaving stony silences when I asked you, do you understand you're measuring Earth flat? That'll be a stony silence, yeah. Yeah, in the stony silences you can respond, oh no, you'd rather just talk while I'm talking. That gets you removed. Dick, Earth's measured flat. If you don't want to acknowledge that, then you don't get to talk to me. If you want to put it into a logical syllogism when it's a statement of fact, then you don't get to talk to me. If you want to talk through me while I point out that once you acknowledge, as he did, that Earth is measured flat, there is no more discussion. It's just an Earth that's measured flat. For you to move forward and ask about how circumferential values we derive from that flat Earth measurement that I don't need to move past. Ever. Again. So, we're all clear. Now, you can rage. Yeah?
Well, he is.
But what you will find is you will go nuts. Yeah? And I'll give you an example. There's a guy called MC Toon. Now, this guy has proactively chased me for years. Why? Well, because he's a super fan. He loves Nathan Oakley. Why? Well, because I point out that he personally measures Earth flat. Now, when I point out that he personally measures Earth flat, and he personally utilises those flat Earth measurements to create a ball to believe in, it doesn't jive mentally. So what does he want to do? He wants to tell an audience that it's not about Earth being measured flat by him, it's about guns. Or, by equivalent, me menstruating. Yeah? That's what the equivalent is. Now, it's not about me menstruating, it's definitely not about guns, it's about Earth being measured flat. That's what it's about. Now, if you acknowledge that, you can get on with your day knowing that that's just how Earth gets measured and the maths that are utilised in calculatory form after those measurements of a flat Earth. You can create a ball to believe in. Well done, you. You've learned the origins of how Earth gets measured flat to create a ball for you to believe in. But that's not my problem. Doesn't mean you have to keep stalking me and leaving literally hundreds of comments about all sorts of things that aren't the measurements of Earth. You can do that. But where does that lead? Well, it'll lead you travelling in a flat direction of south, measuring flat Earth altitudes for straight and level flight on an aeroplane, arriving in an area called Antarctica, measuring flat Earth elevation angles to the sun for 24 hours, only to call up me, for the 100th time, to what? Tell me that you're measuring the sun flat, and then detract from those measurements with a non sequitur about guns. Now, once you've put the phone down on me, saying for the literal 100th time, you're measuring Earth flat, you can then scream my frickin' name into the snow about guns. AKA, you can go nuts. That's what you can do in the face of 100 plus repetitions of these words. You measure Earth flat.
He's a big fan of yours, by the way.
Again?
He's a big fan of yours.
He's a super fan. Why else would he be constantly bumping up my metrics in statistical terms with the amount of comments he leaves? He single-handedly contributed hundreds of comments to this channel. How can you not call him a super fan? His engagement alone dictates how much of a fan he is. He's probably in the comments right now under a cowardly fake name, wondering how he can get around the measurements.
Well, I have somebody saying that we don't understand that horizontal planes are imaginary 2D concepts. That didn't sound imaginary when
that's
Nathan
okay.
read the elevation
No,
angle.
that's good by me. So when we measure the surface level in this diagram here, it's just an imaginary measurement, right? We're not really measuring Earth. Yeah? Yeah, that's no worries. Yeah, that's called the hard place, Neil. I don't mind. You want to choose the hard place rather than the rock? You mean you're not measuring the Earth's surface? It's just imaginary? Oh, so you're not going to depend on it to suggest that that's the surface of Earth curving after you measure it flat for this surface level? That Al-Biruni derived this S. Can you not see this S? You're not going to derive that from this surface level measurement, right? Just imaginary. Oh, no worries then. Oh, we'll kick all of this to the curb if it's just imaginary. We're not measuring the surface then. Yeah? Oh, well, if not measuring the surface, then I don't want to use it. What's that? You don't want it to be imaginary anymore? All right, then you can get on your knees and acknowledge the surface level that you will measure. This is definitely not imaginary. You'll be measuring your height off it. Yeah? See this H? This is a measurement. Now, you can either accept that you are measuring the surface level of Earth, or you could call it imaginary and kick this shit to the curb. I don't mind either. Yeah? You can piss off with your tail between your legs saying, it was only imaginary. We weren't measuring a flat Earth. It was imaginary. Oh, right, well then piss off then. You haven't got anything. You got nothing. No measurements then, just imagination land. Oh, well, you do measure stuff. Oh, what is it you're measuring? Surface level? Yo, Jimmy, pass me that bat. Sorry. Do you want to get on your knees or am I going to do it for you? Yeah, you're going to be on your knees acknowledging the surface level measurement that you'll make. It's not imaginary now, is it now, son? So you got two choices. Get on your knees and acknowledge the flat surface level measurement. What's that you say? Imagination land? Then piss off. Tail between your legs, you've got nothing. Or you're on your knees acknowledging the flat Earth measurement that you'll need. I don't give a toss which. These aren't mine. I don't need any of this shit.
Funny.
I don't need surface level measurements. I don't care. Don't give a crap how we measure Earth. How do you like those apples? You need these surface level measurements though, don't you? What's that? They're imaginary? So you got nothing? All right, why are you in front of me? Why are you screaming my name into the snow? If you've got nothing and you're just imagination, yeah. Yeah, good. Bye-bye.
Again, you don't even need surface level measurements. The existence of something called surface level destroys your entire argument that we're on a wall.
Nah, I want an imagination land surface level measurement. It's just the imagination. We're just imagining it. It's just conceptual. We're not really measuring the land. We're not really measuring anything. We've got no measurements, just a conceptual imagination land. That's all I need. All right. Well, piss off to your conceptual imagination land measurement then. In La La Land, Ball Land, right? Where we're not measuring the ground. Oh, but we are? What, this surface level measurement? Yeah, we are, yeah. We? No, well, that's slightly inaccurate. You will measure surface level. I won't. I don't care. I know you measure it flat, though. I know that. You will measure it flat. I'm the guy with the baseball bat getting you on your knees, acknowledging how flat you measure it. Me, I don't need to measure Jack. I don't care. I just like tormenting idiots who measure Earth flat, who don't think that the surface level's flat after they require it to be measured flat. And then say it's the imagination.
Yeah, if you live in a glass house, you shouldn't throw rocks.
Yeah, it's going to be more and more painful as time progresses, as people on our opposing side realise that they are in the need. You pointed this out 12 months ago. You need a flat Earth more than we do. You're the ones exercising your religious faith in balls, not us. Once we walked away from the ball, we actually didn't need anything. The trick was making us believe that we suddenly needed to debunk how the ball worked and how we see too far. You don't need anything. For them to suggest that they see anything ever at any distance that's capable of measurement, they need to acknowledge that the measurement's linear. They haven't got a distance on a ball. They certainly haven't got any elevation angle measurements to the stars that they've all been measuring to create that ball on flat planes. Well, that's not my ball. That's not my flat plane measurement. That's not my flat Earth angle. That's not my linear distance. I don't need any of this crap. But you ballers, to believe that you're in a ball measuring flat Earth elevation angles and linear distances, you need Earth to be measured flat for your stupid ball belief. So gone are the days where I'll be held accountable for how I say Earth doesn't work spherically. I don't care how you think Earth works spherically. To believe it's spherical, you'll measure Earth flat to achieve that stupid ball belief.
Yeah, that's where my frustration came from when I was talking to that guy, is he wanted to acknowledge the flat plane and then discredit it being flat through calculation.
Yeah.
It was frustrating at the time. It's funny now, but it was frustrating at the time.
For the audience, if you still haven't caught up, this is the rock and hard place argument. What is the rock? The rock is you on your knees acknowledging this on screen now. Alexandria and Cyan. What, the flat Earth elevation angle measurements of a well and a stick and a shadow. So the angle with respect to a flat planar surface, for it to be called an angle. If the surface is curving, it's not an angle anymore. Yeah, that's right. So Earth gets measured flat, and then we move forward deriving radial values after Earth gets measured flat. So you either acknowledge that Earth is measured flat, that's your rock, where I'm saying, right, so now get off your knees and piss off. Earth got measured flat for this angle. Yeah? Eratosthenes is measuring Earth flat. You don't have to like it. I don't care. But you will measure Earth flat. You, not me. Now that's the rock. What's the other alternative to the rock? Well, there's the hard place, like the guy from chat just found out. It's not really an angle, it's imaginary. We're not using the ground. Oh, so you haven't measured Earth's surface then? We're not measuring Earth's surface. Conceptual, imaginary, not real. All right. So you've literally got no Earth surface measurement then? We're not measuring the surface. Piss off that you got absolutely nothing then. You're relinquishing your flat Earth measurements. You don't want them anymore. I don't care. Don't use them. So don't use the angle. Oh, well, you still need the angle for your radius? Yeah, the angle's off a flat Earth though, isn't it? So you're back on your knees in the rock, or you're buggering off to the hard place with nothing, because you haven't got any measurements anymore if you relinquish the flat Earth you measure.
The best example of that was JLB, or was it JLB? The guy that does the salt flats, and he brought us that special Earth curve calculator that was made just for his pictures of the horizon.
Oh, Tim.
And
Tim and Walter.
Oh, yeah, Tim.
No, that's Timmy Osmond.
Tim Osmond, that's right. I'm sorry. And he was throwing it all away by the end of the discussion. He didn't want nothing to do with any of it. And it was hilarious.
Quote, nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve. End quote, Tim Osmond. After being put between a rock and a hard place.
What pictures of Earth curve as the horizon?
Yeah, you just have to look for the flat Earth that gets measured in any of these calculations. The one for Cyan and Alexandria is really obvious. It's on screen now. It's an angle. An elevation angle. It's got 90 degrees on the ground to your position. It can't be anything other than a flat Earth, or it isn't an elevation angle anymore. This is what creates this view with a protractor, basically, wrapped around you, representing all the angles that you could measure stars. I used this to depict what they saw for 24 hours in the Antarctic. You're like, yeah, this is what you do. You're measuring multiple different angles off a flat plane. That's what it is. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. And it works from in the centre of a ball. If you want to pretend that you've got a ball belief to stand on, then you must appreciate and understand how it actually functions on a plane from within the ball. It's called the equatorial plane, and you're projecting those angles through a globe that you're in hell measuring angles from. No, obviously not. Nobody's in hell, and nobody's got a ball wrapped around them to represent the flat plane of the sky and the flat plane of the ground that you can measure with these angles as depicted on screen here, to the lights that represent themselves moving towards the horizon from your vantage point. That doesn't mean they're actually reaching the horizon. They're still over someone else's head, wherever they're measured at the horizon for you through a protractor. But that's the worldview that creates a ball. But to understand how a ball gets created, you must understand that Earth gets measured flat. Now, for me, I'm just going to take anybody who comes across my path and say, you understand that this is one of the measurements, right? Doesn't matter if this on screen now is a sun measurement or Polaris measurement. It doesn't matter. Makes absolutely no difference. The measurement's still of a flat Earth. Now, if you either say, oh, well, it's just imaginary, this is conceptual, so we're not measuring surface then. And then you've got nothing, you don't have any measurements of the ground then, we're not measuring the ground. Oh, we are? Well, okay, get on your knees. It's flat. Any more for any more? No? With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980, why does this camera keep twisting? Maybe I'm kicking it with my feet. If you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering Streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So, another massive thank you to all of you who liked, commented, shared, subscribed, hit the super chat, paid for a load of memberships, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley. Another massive thank you to today's G Plus and Discord panels, and I will see you all in the next video.